Imagine holding the absolute power of life and death over millions of people. Your armies have crushed every kingdom in their path. Your wealth is so vast, it cannot be measured. You are Akbar the Great, the undisputed emperor of the Mughal Empire. Yet, on a quiet afternoon, this all-powerful emperor left his palace, walked into a dangerous, uncharted jungle, and fell to his knees in the dirt. He bowed his head before a man who owned absolutely nothing. No armies, no gold, no home. Why would the world's most powerful ruler surrender his dignity to a penniless forest hermit? The answer reveals a terrifying truth about power, ego, and the invisible prisons we build for ourselves. By the late 16th century, Akbar's empire stretched across millions of square miles, encompassing modern-day India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. He was not just a king, he was the closest thing to a god walking on the earth. His word was law. His palaces rose from red sandstone and white marble. If he wanted a city built, it appeared. If he wanted an empire erased, it vanished. But behind the golden curtains of this throne room, a silent disease was eating away at the emperor. The same disease that plagues many of us today: restless ambition. Akbar had conquered the world outside, but his inner world was a war zone. He couldn't sleep, he couldn't find peace. Every victory felt empty just minutes after it was won. He had discovered a dark paradox at the heart of power. The more he acquired on the outside, the more he became a prisoner to the fear of losing it. Every new throne needs more guards than the last. His ego had become a monstrous beast. It constantly demanded more land, more wealth, more validation. The emperor of the world was, in reality, a slave to his own restless mind. One evening, a wandering traveler brought a strange rumor to the imperial court. Deep within the dense, perilous forests of the empire, there lived a hermit. The traveler said something that deeply unsettled the emperor. "Your Majesty, I have seen men who possess empire but live in terror. But this hermit, he possesses nothing, yet he walks with the absolute authority of a cosmic king. He has a peace that no emperor can buy." This offended Akbar's ego, but it also ignited a desperate curiosity. How could a beggar be more sovereign than an emperor? Akbar decided he had to see this man. He had to conquer this mystery, just as he had conquered kingdoms. But he did something unexpected. He didn't ride out with his army or his royal elephants. Something inside him understood, perhaps for the first time, that temporal power would mean nothing in the domain of spiritual stillness. He stripped off his jewel-encrusted robes. He left his guards at the edge of the dense forest, dressed in the simple clothing of an ordinary traveler. Akbar stepped into the wild alone. The forest was dark. The path quickly disappeared. There were no servants to carry his weight, no generals to map the route. For a man who had never in his life taken a single step without an army behind him, every footfall through that jungle was a small, quiet act of surrender. After hours of searching, Akbar found him. The hermit sat on the bare dirt floor, no clothes except a simple loincloth, no guard, no roof above his head, not a single coin to his name. Akbar stood there, waiting to be recognized. In the palace, his mere presence sent hundreds instantly to the ground in prostration. Here, the hermit didn't even open his eyes. Minutes passed, then more minutes, then hours. Akbar's ego was screaming, but the hermit's absolute, unshakable stillness acted like a mirror, reflecting back every layer of the emperor's noise, every restless thought, every hollow hunger he had spent a lifetime mistaking for ambition. Finally, the hermit opened his eyes, completely calm, free of desire, free of fear. He looked at the emperor of the world as if he were just another blade of grass. Akbar spoke first. "I am Emperor Akbar. I have come to see your wisdom." The hermit smiled gently. "You call yourself an emperor, yet you walk through this jungle looking for something you don't have. Tell me, Akbar, if you are the master of everything, why is your mind still a beggar, begging for peace?" In that single moment, the illusion shattered. Akbar saw it clearly. His golden throne, his grand palaces, his massive armies, they were beautiful distractions from an inner emptiness he had never dared to face. This man, sitting on a dirt floor with nothing, had conquered the only territory that actually mattered, his own mind. The hermit didn't fear death because he owned nothing that could be taken away. He didn't desire anything because he was already complete within himself. He was not poor, he was free, and freedom, Akbar now understood, was the one thing that all his power had never been able to purchase. Akbar bowed, not because he was forced to, but because his ego had finally been dismantled, and he understood, perhaps for the first time in his life, that true majesty does not come from wearing a crown. It comes from the capacity to surrender it. He returned to his palace a changed man. He continued to rule, but he no longer let the empire rule his soul. Centuries later, the crowns have changed shape, but the weight is the same. We don't have armies, we have carriers we are terrified of losing. We don't have palaces, we have lifestyles we can barely afford to maintain. We don't have subjects, we have audiences, followers, metrics, the quiet approval of people we barely know. The currency changed, the hunger didn't. We are still Akbar, still building empires on the outside to silence the chaos on the inside. Still mistaking the size of what we have accumulated for the depth of who we are. And somewhere, not in a jungle, but in the rare moment when the noise finally stops, we catch a glimpse of what the hermit already knew. That the only empire worth building has no borders. It asks for no validation. It cannot be taken from you. It is simply the moment you stop running and realize you were never truly empty to begin with.